Okay guys, so I'm on my way to NAMM. I'm not used to holding cameras in front of my face in public, and it makes me really self-conscious. But I'm heading to NAMM, and I'm gonna try to get some footage. I'm gonna try not to get self-conscious. I'm gonna see how it goes. Right?
Right.
Right. Right. I'm gonna be a camera person now. I think that's all I have to say. This makes me uncomfortable. But I'm doing it for you guys, so you can see NAMM and you can see what's there this year, and hopefully we'll see some exciting stuff. And I'm just gonna kind of look for stuff that I find interesting and then see what happens. Okay. Okay guys, so it's the evening of the Monday right after NAMM right now. So what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try to take all the footage that I collected and kind of sit down here and do a little voiceover and talk about what I saw, and then pair it with that footage and just kind of give you an idea of what I saw and what I thought was interesting, and just a few highlights from the show. So I hope you guys like this. I hope you find it useful, and let me know what you think. So the way I figure I'm going to do this is I have a few clips from some talks that were kind of interesting, so I might put those in. I have some footage from just walking around. All I did was I brought my GoPro and my phone, and that's all I used. And to be honest, I'm like not comfortable being one of those people that like vlogs in public, like carrying a camera around. So hopefully I have enough footage to actually fill in the gaps here while I'm talking. But if there's like a still that's kind of that I put up here for a bit, then I'm sorry. Just keep in mind that I'm doing this voiceover Monday night, and then I'm going to be doing the editing tomorrow night, Tuesday, to try to get this video out for you guys for this Wednesday, because I want to get this video out while it's still relevant, you know, a few days after NAMM instead of like a week after NAMM. So I have a shorty video scheduled for this Wednesday, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch this shorty video with the long video that would be next week. So it's going to be this video on NAMM this week, and then next week and the week after will be two shorty videos in a row instead of alternating. So I'm sorry about the two shorty videos in a row thing for next week and the week after, but it's because I'm swapping this NAMM video with the video that was scheduled for this Wednesday. So it's just a swap. It's not, you're still getting the same amount of content. And I'm just doing this voiceover here instead of sitting down and talking to the camera because, to be honest, I did makeup 2 days in a row this weekend while I was at NAMM, and that's kind of my limit. And then on top of that, I kind of feel like I'm getting a bit of a NAMM-thrax infection because my throat's feeling it a little bit, feeling a little stuffy. I hope I don't get sick. I can't handle being sick right now. Yeah, so that's why I'm doing this instead of sitting down and talking to you guys in front of the camera. So I hope that's okay. So this year I just went to Saturday and Sunday for NAMM, and that's because I had too much work to do last week. So all this information is stuff that I saw on Saturday or Sunday. So what I did is on Saturday I wandered around on the floor, got some footage, checked out some stuff, talked to some people. And then on Sunday, I just went to talk after talk after talk. So I did get really into the talks this year. I found a lot of the information to be really useful, really valuable, and I met a lot of really cool people. So this video might not be as heavy on the products and the actual floor as some of you might like. And I'm sorry, but you know, I wanted to go to the talks, so I went to the talks. So I'll talk a little bit about the talks that I went to. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the talks that are kind of audio engineer related. And this year I did go to a few of the more social media and marketing oriented talks because I think that's useful for anyone, but I'm not going to talk about that in this video. So I'm just going to talk about the audio related stuff. But if you're interested in hearing what I learned from that type of talk, let me know and I could maybe make another video just focusing on what I learned from those. Because in those they talked about stuff like how to market yourself as an artist, things to do to improve your social media presence, how to help artists that you manage or that you're helping in some capacity. So it was really useful stuff. So if you guys want to hear about that stuff, let me know. It's not as on topic with my audio engineering theme here on my channel. So I'll just make that video if you guys ask for it. So just let me know. So let's see. I'm just going to go through my notes here and look at my photos. So I met Sylvia Massy this year, and that was awesome. She signed a couple of posters for me. I talked to her for just a minute. I was so nervous. I'm usually not nervous at all to meet famous engineers, but for some reason with Sylvia Massy, I was like beyond nervous. But it was awesome. I got some footage on my phone from her talk. My GoPro battery actually died right before her talk. So I got some footage on my phone, so I can share that with you guys here.
So in the rack, I have a
couple of Strutter compressors. I have the Emperor and I have the Monster. And the Monster I use in tracking generally. The Emperor I can use in tracking, but I really love it on the stereo bus as the finishing piece of the mixing when I'm doing the mixes in the hybrid mode.
What advice do you have for a fledgling engineer?
I say if you're getting into recording, if you have the ability to have your own recording setup so that you can you can bring musicians into your place or rent a room somewhere that you can make noise in. Do as much as possible. First of all, attack every genre. If you have to research other recordings in that genre, do it. Imagine, kind of figure out in your head just by listening how it was done and then emulate that. Try to get I'm still trying to reach into genres I know nothing about. I've never recorded a big band. I'm going to do that this year. I have a date already set. So I'm going to learn how to do this. So always reach into genres you don't know anything about and try it. Also, the more projects that you record, the more of a discography you have, the more credibility you have for someone to come to you and, when they say, well, what have you done? Well, I've done this. And it's going to be easier for you to get the snowball going, to get the gigs. So I'd say if you're starting out, try to be able to have your own control over what you're recording. Get some important items that you're going to need. Mic pre's are important. Quality mic pre's. You can have inexpensive mics, just have good quality mic pre's, a couple good compressors, and a laptop interface, good interface. So, but then record as much as you can. The Apollo, the Apollo, the Apogee interfaces are good too. Apogee, the Element 88 is a simple and effective tool. The Ensemble is also another Apogee that is really good.
Songwriter and a touring musician for years, but I'm getting into the engineering side of things because it's become more cost effective for me to, rather than outsource to a studio, I don't have to anymore.
Well, think of this. You can work on your own project as your producer and spend all that energy doing your own project for years, and then at the end of it, you've worked with one artist yourself. Whereas if you spend all that time doing 20 other different artists, you get much more out of that. You can still work on your own stuff, just don't spend all the time on your own music. And you can apply your knowledge and arrangements and stuff to other people's music, and you'll find that it makes you a better producer.
Think about Prince, how we would rehearse every day of the week, right, with a different band. So you'd have all these different bands, and you go in, so you might have an idea from Tuesday, and by Friday, with all these other people, they put in ideas and brought things to the table. That's what you're talking about, multiple experience.
Let's see what else. I saw the usual gear companies were there. They had some really cool stuff. It's all over Instagram, so I'm not going to really focus on it too much. Some things that I thought were interesting were I talked to the GiK Acoustics guys. I don't really know how to say that. I don't know if it's supposed to be GiK or... Anyway, I talked to one of their guys, and he was showing me some of their new products, including, they can make acoustic panels with your art on it, which is really cool. I know some companies have been doing that for a little while, but it's still kind of a new thing to the market. I thought that was really cool. They did have a couple tube traps that they're starting to make, and they didn't really want to talk about it on camera because I guess it's so new that it's not even pushed out to the market yet or something. So, but they're working on them. They're making them. I guess it would be a future release thing, so you can keep an eye out for that. Let's see, what else? Focal actually had a really cool display, and it was a speaker that was made entirely out of Legos. So that was really cool. I got a photo of that. It's on my Instagram if you want to see it. It's at Cato Noise is my Instagram, so you can check that out. Let's see. I'm going through my photos here. What else do we have? Oh, I was eyeing a lot of the desks because I want a new studio desk. I was really into the acoustics and the desks this year for some reason. And I mean, I really do need to improve my acoustics in here, but acoustics are important, so I'm not sorry. So if we're connected on Instagram, then you guys might have seen my post like a week or so ago where my CloudLifter, which I've had for years, I love my CloudLifter. I've had it for years, but what happened was all of a sudden one day it was receiving radio signal, and it was like the classic rock radio station in town. And it was really weird. It was like I was getting the radio signal in, and if I took it out of the chain, it would be gone, right? And as soon as I put the CloudLifter back in the chain, it would be back. And so the rack for my gear is made of metal. And what I noticed is if I took the CloudLifter while it was in the signal chain and slowly moved it closer to the rack, the signal would actually get louder. And then if I pulled it away, it would get quieter. So I posted about it because I was like, someone probably had this issue before, right? Unless I'm going absolutely insane, which is totally possible. So I posted about it, and no one else was like, oh yeah, I have that problem, or I had that problem. So I then contacted Cloud Microphones, and they were really nice and friendly and helpful, and they offered to send me a new one. But I was like, I should just check and make sure it's still happening before, like try to make sure, like double check that I'm not crazy before I let them send me a whole new one, because I don't want to be wasteful and whatnot. So I did, and I couldn't get the issue to replicate. So then I was like, okay, maybe I am going crazy. So anyway, so I went and talked to them about it at their booth this year. So the guy that I spoke with, he did say that people do get radio signal on occasion from the older CloudLifters, and mine is pretty old. I've had it for a few years, but he said that the new ones don't seem to get that issue. So they'll replace it for you if it happens, and that usually fixes it. And he also said that it's common for it to come and go. So replicating the issue can be hard to do. So that was kind of encouraging, because I realized that maybe I'm not crazy. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, and he said that people that have had this issue, some of them have actually noticed that the way you coil your mic cable can actually affect what radio station you're picking up. So that's kind of interesting. Another thing that I thought was really cool actually came to my attention through Rarefied Recording, which is a studio here in San Diego. They posted about it on their Instagram. They're really cool. Anyway, so what it is a plugin that you can get, but when you use the plugin, it actually sends your signal out to physical hardware that the company owns, and then it'll send your process signal back to you. So it's a plugin, but you're actually processing your signal through physical hardware. So I thought that was really cool. And they had a little demo set up where you could see what the hardware looks like that they own. And so what they have is whatever the hardware is, and then they have little controls set up over the knobs to physically turn the knobs for you. So when you're, tweaking the thing in the plugin, there's a physical component at the end, and, wherever they're housing this hardware that's turning the knobs for the hardware. So I thought that was pretty cool. And apparently with this plugin, there's a reservation system. So you won't open up the plugin to use it and be like, oh, all their stuff's being used right now, so I can't use my plugin. So I thought that was pretty cool. I forget what the company was called, but I'll put it up here on the screen for you guys if I can find it. Another thing that I thought was kind of interesting this year, and maybe I kind of found this more interesting because I just had my whole thing with my CloudLifter, but Royer actually came out with the dBooster, and I actually have a clip on my GoPro where they're talking about it, so I will put that here if the audio is at all intelligible.
This is a Royer Labs, we call it the dBooster, and this unit is an inline amplifier that's intended to interface between a relatively low output microphone, either dynamic or ribbon, and the typical semi-professional interface or semi-professional recorder with fairly noisy, low-gain microphone instruments. The idea with this unit is it'll take the output of a low-level microphone, say a dynamic or a ribbon microphone, and it'll raise the level to where it's comparable to that of a condenser microphone without adding noise or distortion. And you'll notice here the unit has a push button which gives a switched choice of either 20 decibels gain or 12 decibels gain, so that you can tailor the amount of amplification to suit your needs. So that if you need a large amount of gain to distant mic, say a string quartet, you'll be accommodated. Or if you have to deal with something that is quite loud, you can reduce the gain and not overload the following input or this preamplifier. And what sets this unit apart from other units that are like it on the market is the noise level is extremely low, and the distortion is extremely low. Furthermore, this unit is designed so that it'll be very forgiving of real-world conditions. Any preamplifier with any input impedance will not upset the operation of this unit. It'll produce its rated gain and its rated distortion with a load down to 750 ohms. And with competitive units, either the gain or the distortion will be severely degraded if the load impedance imposed by the following preamplifier is lower than, say, 2,500 and 3,000 ohms.
Okay.